presentarlo. El juez los llamará uno por uno y les preguntará su nombre y fecha de nacimiento. Luego el juez repasará las acusaciones en contra de cada uno y les dirá las condiciones de la libertad provisional. No se le dejará en libertad si está aquí por quebrantamiento del régimen probatorio, y la siguiente audiencia se celebrará dentro de 7 días. No se le dejará en libertad si está aquí por un orden judicial de detención que se emitió cuando usted no se presentó a su vista. Asimismo, no se le dejará en libertad si usted cometió un delito mientras gozaba de libertad provisional por otra acusación. Para obtener la libertad provisional, habrá que prestar una fianza por un importe que fijará el juez, o se le pondrá en libertad bajo la supervisión de la Agencia de Control de Procesados, lo cual es similar a estar en régimen probatorio. Tendrá que reportarse y someterse a pruebas de uso de alcohol y drogas. Si tales pruebas demuestran que usted usa esas sustancias, se le podrá revocar su libertad provisional. También puede obtener la libertad provisional bajo caución juratoria, lo cual significa que promete comparecer al juzgado. Todos los acusados puestos en libertad están sujetos a estas condiciones. No podrá salir del Estado sin antes obtener el permiso del juez encargado de su caso. No podrá infringir la ley. No podrá tener contacto con la parte ofendida por el delito. Habrá de mantener al tribunal al corriente de su dirección en todo momento y tiene que presentarse a todas sus citas. Si usted infringe cualquiera de las condiciones de su puesta en libertad, esta se le revocará y usted regresará a la cárcel. Para resolver cualquier duda, consulte al juez cuando llame su caso. Después de que se ventile su caso, pase a su derecha para obtener sus documentos que contendrán la información sobre la fecha, hora y lugar de su próxima cita ante el tribunal.
Just remember when you guys come in, you're going to have somebody stick your hands out. If you report online, anything you say in your report is going to be anything. If you're getting released, we'll get out of here, go to the next room. If you're staying in jail, get it out, we'll shut to the next room. Don't fight the case here, we're fighting the next one. And don't fight with us, don't fight with me. Everything in here is going to tell you everything you're going to have to favor, just read up to favor. Mom, if you have any report favor, report charges, or release conditions, and you can talk to them. After you come out, because I guess it's because it's at the beach.
Okay. Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Commissioner Hughes. This is the 8 a.m. initial appearance calendar for Friday, March 7th. Do I have a court interpreter on the line?
Good morning, Your Honor. Fernando Venegas with the Interpreter's Office.
Good morning, Mr. Venegas. Okay, I show I have one Spanish matter, so I will go ahead. We'll do our admonitions. You can translate, and then we'll see if anybody else needs you. If not, I will let you be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Good morning again, everybody. As I said, my name is Commissioner Hughes. This is the 8 a.m. initial appearance calendar.
Como se estaba informando, buenos días de nuevo. Y estamos aquí con la comisionada Hughes para la vista inicial de las 8 de la mañana.
As we get started in here this morning, I will call each of you into the courtroom one at a time.
Cuando se les va a llamar a cada uno de ustedes por nombre, a que pasen aquí al atril.
I'll start by asking the first person to stand behind this gray podium here inside the courtroom. I'll ask the next two people that I intend to call to have a seat in those two chairs right inside this door.
Y cuando le toque, puede pasarle a la sala y el que le toca después podrá tomar asiento, o más bien en los dos asientos que están atrás de entre este pasillo.
Once you work your way into the courtroom and you're behind the podium, the first thing I will do is ask you to state your full name and date of birth. Then I will explain to you why you're here this morning.
Cuando le toque pasar al atril, le voy a pedir que diga su nombre, sus apellidos, también la fecha de nacimiento, y se le informará a usted la razón por la cual está aquí.
After that, I will tell you whether you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, sometimes called a public defender, to represent you. If you do not, you have the right to hire a lawyer to represent you in all criminal proceedings.
Y se le va a informar a usted también si usted califica para que se le nombre a un abogado de oficio, o sea, es un abogado público. Y si usted no califica, entonces tiene el derecho de contratar abogado particular usted por cuenta propia.
The last two things we'll do while you're in the courtroom is I will give you the next court hearing dates and times you'll be required to attend, and then we'll talk about whether you are eligible for release from custody and on what terms if you are.
Y también después se le va a programar las próximas citas en el tribunal. Está obligado a que se presente a estas citas programadas. Y también vamos a platicar respecto a las condiciones de libertad, si es que es puesto en libertad.
Before we do get started, I want you all to know that you have the right to remain silent in a criminal case, and these are recorded criminal proceedings where anything that you do say in the courtroom can be used against you.
También a usted se le informa que tiene el derecho a que guarde silencio. Todo lo que usted diga se utilizará en contra de usted, porque en el tribunal tenemos actas grabando.
Unless you have made arrangements with a private lawyer, you will not have a lawyer in the courtroom this morning for purposes of your defense.
Al menos que usted haya contratado a un abogado particular, entonces no tendrá un abogado que lo represente en esta audiencia.
Because you won't have a lawyer in here and because anything you say could be used against you, I will strongly caution all of you against making any statements regarding the facts about why you're here.
Y debido a que muchos de ustedes no tendrán abogado a su lado aquí, entonces les voy a dar a ustedes una advertencia de que no hablen de los hechos del caso al estar aquí.
Last thing, all the information I give you while you're in the courtroom will be contained in a written document that you will get a copy of when you're done in the courtroom, so please don't feel like you need to memorize the information we're going through while you're in here.
Y también todos los formularios se los van a recibir por escrito respecto a las citas y todo lo que sigue. Por eso no está obligado a que se memorice todo a lo que está llevando a cabo aquí.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Can I please have Aldo Samaniego all the way into the courtroom, please? Jack Zamora and Angel Gonzalez, if you would take a seat in those two chairs right inside the door, please. sir, as you may have heard, we will use a Spanish interpreter for purposes of your hearing. I ask that you please allow the interpreter an opportunity to translate, even if you might understand some of what I say or all of what I say in English.
Muy bien, señor. Como ya conoce usted, tenemos aquí un intérprete que va a interpretar. Quizás usted entienda inglés o a lo mejor comprende bien el inglés, pero espera que el intérprete vaya a interpretar todo bien antes de que usted responda.
Can I have your full name and date of birth, please?
Señor, ¿podrá decirme su nombre, sus apellidos y la fecha de nacimiento de usted, por favor?
Aldo Wilson Samaniego Peña, el 4 de abril del 83.
Aldo Wilson, perdón, Wilson sí. Dijo. Samaniego Peña. 4483.
Thank you very much. You are here on a bench warrant issued by the Superior Court when you failed to appear at a preliminary hearing in an existing felony drug case.
Señor, a usted se le expidió orden de aprehensión por incomparecencia a una audiencia preliminar respecto a un delito de droga.
You already have a lawyer in that case. That lawyer will continue to defend you.
Usted tiene a un abogado que lo representa en este caso y también lo seguirá representando aquí a lo largo de este asunto.
Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 13th and then a preliminary hearing March 17th, both of them at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown.
Señor, tienes programadas las audiencias. Es una consulta de actualización. Queda programada para el día 13 de marzo. Y luego el 17 de marzo es la audiencia preliminar, ambas a las 8:30 de la mañana en el Tribunal Superior del Centro de Phoenix.
On that warrant, you have a $500 secured appearance bond.
Con esta orden de aprehensión, usted tiene una fianza fija de $500 con garantía.
If you post that bond and you're released from custody, in addition to getting yourself to your next court hearings, you are ordered not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription.
Ahora, si usted deposita esta fianza, señor, tiene la obligación de presentarse a las próximas audiencias programadas. Y si usted lo hace, se le prohíbe que usted posea drogas sin receta válida.
Do you understand those conditions?
¿Usted entendió las condiciones, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. You can go ahead and step back to your left and get your paperwork.
Gracias.
Muy bien, señor. Pásele aquí a su izquierda para que tenga el papeleo.
Mr. Interpreter, before you disconnect, can I ask you to please make a quick inquiry of the gallery to make sure nobody else requires your assistance?
Yes, Your Honor. ¿Alguien más aquí ocupa interpretación? ¿Alguien aquí no habla inglés? Puede levantar su mano o diga su nombre.
I'm hearing no names, being told there were no hands raised. So thank you very much, Mr. Interpreter. You are free to disconnect.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, can I please have Jack Zamora into the courtroom behind the podium? Bradley Thompson, if you would please join Mr. Gonzalez in the chairs. Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
Jack J. Zamora, 3/1973.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zamora. You are here on 2 probation violation warrants, or I guess technically they are bench warrants issued by the probation court. It looks like they were both issued when you failed to appear at a probation disposition hearing. In both of those probation cases, you already have a lawyer assigned to represent you, so that lawyer will continue to defend you. Your next court hearing on both of these warrants will be a new disposition hearing. It will be March 10th at 8:30 in the probation court downtown. I think you already had a hearing set for that date and time, so we matched that. You've only got one next hearing date in both of those cases. You are, pursuant to those warrants, not eligible for release on bond. So you will stay in custody without bail at least until you see the probation judge on March 10th, 3 days from now. Do you understand that information?
Yeah, I was in the program. That's why I wasn't able to show up for court.
Talk to your lawyer about that. I don't want you to think that I'm not interested, but I don't want you to say anything that could be used against you. So talk to your lawyer about the circumstances of why you may have missed that hearing, and your lawyer can work out what is appropriate to present to the probation court and can do that at your next hearing.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. You can step back and get your paperwork. Angel Gonzalez to the podium in the courtroom, please. Dylan James, if I could ask you to join Mr. Thompson in the chair. Good morning. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Angel Gonzalez, 102901.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gonzalez. You are here on 4 different matters. The first matter that you're here on is allegations of new charges. Those allegations are 1 count of armed robbery with a deadly weapon, that is a Class 2 felony, and 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Those are both Class 3 felonies. I have found probable cause to support those new allegations, and I've appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings on those new allegations will be a status conference March 13th and then a preliminary hearing March 17th. Those 2 hearings will be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On those new allegations, I have imposed a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50,000. The other 3 matters you're here on are all allegations that those new charges violate term 1 of your probation in 3 different cases. In all 3 of those probation cases, I've appointed a lawyer to represent you. Your next court hearing in all 3 of the probation matters will be a revocation arraignment hearing March 13th at 8:30, those in the probation court downtown. On 2 of those 3 probation warrants, you are bond eligible, and on each of those 2, you have a $250 secured appearance bond. On the 3rd probation warrant, you are not eligible for release on bond. So on the 1 probation warrant, you will be held in custody without bail at least until you see the probation judge on March 13th. Because you will not be bond eligible on that 1 warrant at least until March 13th, I encourage you not yet to try to post your monetary bonds on the other 3 cases. I encourage you to wait until you see the probation judge on the 13th before you attempt to post those bonds. Do you understand that information?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. You can step back and get your paperwork. Bradley Thompson to the podium in the courtroom, please. Justin Filia, if you would work your way to the 2nd chair. Good morning, sir. Can I please have your name and date of birth?
Bradley Thompson, 08-2793.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thompson. If you will give me 1 quick second, I just noticed an error in your paperwork, so I need to fix one of them, and then I'll tell you what you're all here on. What all you're here on, I guess I should say. Okay, my apologies for that delay. You are here on 3 different matters. The first matter that you're here on is an arrest warrant issued after a direct complaint was filed. A direct complaint is a written document that alleges new allegations against you. The allegations in that direct complaint are 1 count of narcotic drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. Those 2 allegations are alleged to have been committed May 11th of 2024. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you against the allegations in that direct complaint. Your next court hearing on those 2 allegations will be a status conference March 12th and then a preliminary hearing March 14th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. Dana, is that right? Everybody else's hearings were the 13th and the 17th, and his are showing as the 12th and the 14th. I think your hearings are probably going to be March 13th and March 17th. I just want to get confirmation of that first. Yeah. Okay. So your next hearings will be March 13th and March 17th, but still at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On that direct complaint warrant, you have a $250 secured appearance bond. The other 2 matters you're here on, though, are probation violation warrants issued out of Pinal County. On those 2 probation warrants in Pinal County, if you don't already have lawyers assigned to you in those Pinal County probation matters, the Pinal County Court can appoint one for you at your next court hearing. Your next hearing on the 2 Pinal County probation cases will be arraignment hearings March 12th at 8:30, those in the Pinal County Superior Court. On the two Pinal County warrants, you are not eligible for release on bond. So you will be held in custody without bail at least until you see the Pinal County judge on March 12th. If after March 12th you are released or release eligible on those, then you could look at posting that $250 bond on the direct complaint. Do you understand all of that information?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Thompson. I think we're still getting that one order corrected, so we'll get that fixed. We'll print them all and bring them out to you if you'll just take a step back to your left. Thank you. Dylan James to the podium in the courtroom, please. Clarence Ferguson, if you would please work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth?
Dylan James, 12/30/97.
Thank you very much, Mr. James. You are here on a probation violation warrant issued by the Navajo County Superior Court.
Yes.
On that warrant, or in that case, I should say, if you don't already have a lawyer assigned to you, the Navajo County judge that you see at your next hearing will appoint one for you. That hearing is going to be an arraignment hearing March 11th. It'll be at 8:30 in the morning in the Navajo County Superior Court. According to the Navajo County judge that issued that warrant, you are not eligible for release on bond. So you will stay in custody at least until you see the Navajo judge March 11th. Do you understand that information?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. James. You can step back and get your paperwork. Justin Filia, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Malik Harris, if I could ask you to work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Justin Filial, 4/29/1983.
Thank you very much, Mr. Filia. You are here on a probation violation warrant issued by the Maricopa County Superior Court. A petition to revoke your probation has been filed, the terms of which appear to be interstate compact terms. Because of that, you are not eligible for release on bond on this warrant. If you don't already have a lawyer in this case, you are entitled to one, so I have appointed a lawyer to represent you. Your next court hearing will be a revocation arraignment hearing. It will be March 13th at 8:30 in the probation court downtown, and you will be held in custody without bond at least until that hearing. Do you understand that information?
Yes, ma'am. I do have one question.
Okay.
I'm actively I'm treating esophageal cancer.
Okay.
In Texas, that's why I missed my court date from my probation, which is why I got violated. I was hoping that I could continue doing so, maybe with the ankle monitor until then.
So that is possible, but that has to be an order made by the probation judge, and that won't happen until the 13th.
Okay.
So I can't guarantee the probation judge will agree to that, but at least today I cannot. So as of today, you will be held in custody at least until you see the probation judge on the 13th. On the 13th, you have the opportunity to make motions or petition the probation court for different release conditions. I will also tell you, Mr. Filia, that so long as you remain in custody here in Maricopa County, your medical care is the responsibility of the sheriff's office. So if there are certain things that you know that you need to be provided for medically, when you're transferred to, you won't stay here in this facility. When you're transferred to the more permanent facility, please let them know if you feel like you need to be seen by medical or you have medical conditions. They can ensure that any medical care you need will be handled.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any other questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. You can step back and get your paperwork. Clarence Ferguson to the podium in the courtroom, please. Edward Lee, if you would please work your way to the second chair. Good morning, sir. May I please have your...
Clarence Ferguson, 010202.
010202. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ferguson. You are here on an allegation of a new charge. The allegation against you is one count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person. It is a Class 4 felony. I have found probable cause to support that allegation, and I have appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearing will be a status conference March 13th, and then a preliminary hearing March 17th. Both of them at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. Because this allegation is a felony offense alleged to have been committed while you were on pretrial release in a different felony case, you are not eligible for release on bond on this new allegation. So you will be held in custody without bail at least until an evidentiary hearing is held. My clerk is working on getting the date for that hearing. I don't know what it'll be. 13th and the 17th. Ooh. It might be the 14th. I'll let you know when we get that set. It'll fall in between your other two hearings. Your hearings might in general change, but you'll have a status conference, and then you'll have an evidentiary hearing, and then you'll have a preliminary hearing. It will be that middle hearing, the evidentiary hearing, that will determine whether you will be, after that hearing, eligible for release on bond or some other terms. So for now, you will be held in custody, at least until that evidentiary hearing takes place. Dana, do you have a date for it? The 14th. Okay. So your status conference will be the 13th at 8:30. Your evidentiary hearing will be the 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon. And then you'll have that preliminary hearing on the 17th back at 8:30. So we'll get all those hearing dates and times in your release order. We'll print that and make sure all those hearing dates are right and then bring it out to you. Okay. All right. Do you understand all that information, Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much. You can step back. Malik Harris to the podium in the courtroom, please. Jajuan Ingram. I apologize if I mispronounced it. If you work your way to the chair. Do I have Malik Harris? Oh, okay.
Harris is in the ISO, he's coming.
Okay. Like right now, or it should come back to him?
Alright, we're getting him right now.
Do I have Edward Lee? They're shaking their heads no. Okay, so Mr. Ingram, then, if you would work your way, we'll come back to Mr. Harris. I'm sorry, Ms. Gahn. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Juan Ingram, August 30th, 1998.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ingram. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, that is a Class 3 felony, 1 count of aggravated domestic violence, a Class 5 felony, 1 count of disorderly conduct involving weapons, 1 count of unlawful imprisonment, those 2 are Class 6 felonies, and 1 count of threatening and intimidating, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I have found probable cause to support those new allegations, and I have determined that you are entitled to a court-appointed lawyer, so I've appointed one to represent you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 13th, and then a preliminary hearing March 17th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On these allegations, I have imposed a $75,000 secured appearance bond. Secured appearance means that you can use a bonding company to post that bond if you choose to. If you do post that bond, prior to your physical release from custody, you will be affixed with an ankle monitor. If you post that bond and you are released on that ankle monitor, you are prohibited from having contact with any alleged victims or witnesses of the underlying offenses. You cannot possess any weapons. You cannot possess or consume any alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription. And whether or not you are released from custody, you are ordered to strictly comply with the terms of any orders of protection, if any have been or might later be served upon you. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Ingram. I need to have your paperwork reprinted, but we'll reprint it and bring it out to you if you'll step back to your left. Will you reprint that one, please, Dana? Okay, do we have Malik Harris now?
Harris is here now.
Okay, Malik Harris, if you would work your way into the courtroom, please. Daniel Ortega, if there's an open chair, if you would work your way to it, please. Ash, can I ask you to move over?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, can I have your name and date of birth?
I'm Malik Harris, February 24th, 1998.
Did you say 1998?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Harris. An appearance of counsel for the state, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Brooke Gahn, that's the state.
Good morning, Ms. Gahn. Okay, Mr. Harris, you are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of murder in the first degree, that is a Class 1 felony, 1 count of drive-by shooting, a Class 2 felony, 1 count of aggravated assault, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of criminal damage, excuse me, I misspoke, 2 counts. It is 2 counts of aggravated assault. So 1 count of murder, 1 count of drive-by shooting, 2 counts of aggravated assault, 1 count of criminal damage, a Class 5 felony, 1 count of discharging a firearm in the city limits. Attention here, please, Mr. Harris. 1 count of discharging a firearm in the city limits, 2 counts of endangerment, 1 count of disorderly conduct. Those last 4 are all Class 6 felonies. Based on the information provided to me in a written document from law enforcement called a Form 4, I am inclined to find probable cause to support those allegations. Before I do that, Ms. Gaunt, is there anything that the state wishes the court to consider in addition to the information in the Form 4 regarding probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then I have found probable cause to support those allegations. I have determined you are entitled to a court-appointed lawyer to defend you, so I have appointed one for you. Your next court hearings on these allegations will be a status conference March 13th and then a preliminary hearing March 17th. They will both be at 8:30 in the morning in the Superior Court downtown. Before I pose any release conditions in this case, can I please have argument or recommendation from the state?
Thank you, Your Honor. The state's asking for a $1 million cash-only bond, and if Mr. Harris is able to post that, we'd ask for electronic monitoring. Our understanding is that Mr. Harris has prior felony convictions, and he's been previously incarcerated in the Department of Corrections. He allegedly committed a drive-by shooting where 2 victims were struck, and 1 victim unfortunately died as a result of her injuries. Law enforcement believes a firearm equipped with a Glock switch was used in the shooting. The state is concerned that Mr. Harris is an extremely dangerous individual and threatens the safety of the community.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gaunt. Mr. Harris, as I indicated earlier, I have reviewed the factual allegations against you in this case based on what law enforcement has told me. Based on those factual allegations and based in part on the representations made by the state in open court, I am persuaded that you do pose a substantial risk of harm to the general public. For that reason, I am imposing a $1 million cash-only bond. If you post that bond, you will be affixed with an ankle monitor prior to your physical release from custody. If you post that bond and you are released on that ankle monitor, you cannot return to the scene where any of the underlying events giving rise to these allegations took place. You cannot have contact with any alleged victims, witnesses, co-defendants, or family of any deceased victims. You also cannot possess any weapons or drugs without a valid prescription if you are released from custody. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Harris. You can work your way back to your left, and you have all of that information in a written document. Ash, do we have Edward Lee now?
Yes.
Okay, Edward Lee, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Sylvester Lauderdale, if there's an open chair, if you would please work your way to that. Right up here to this podium, if you would please, sir. Can I have your name and date of birth?
Edward Lee, May 15, 2004.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lee. An appearance of counsel for the state.
Thank you, Your Honor. Brooke Gaunt, Paso State.
Good morning, Ms. Gaunt. Okay, Mr. Lee, you are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of drive-by shooting. Those are both Class 2 felonies. 1 count of murder in the first degree, a Class 1 felony. 1 count of discharging a firearm in the city limits, and 1 count of endangerment. Those last 2 are both Class 6 felonies. Based on the information provided to me regarding the facts in this case, in a document called a Form 4 submitted by law enforcement, I am inclined to find probable cause to support these allegations. Before I do that officially, Ms. Gaunt, is there any information the state wishes me to consider in terms of probable cause in addition to what's in the Form 4?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much. Then I am finding probable cause to support those allegations. Mr. Lee, I have determined that you are entitled to a court-appointed lawyer to defend you against these allegations, so I have appointed one for you. Your next court hearings in this matter will be a status conference March 13th and then a preliminary hearing March 17th. Both of those hearings will be at 8:30 in the morning in the Superior Court downtown. Before I consider or impose any release conditions, can I please hear the argument and or recommendation from the state?
Thank you, Your Honor. The state's asking for a $1 million cash-only bond, and if Mr. Lee is able to post that, we've asked for electronic monitoring. Our understanding is that Mr. Lee has no adult criminal history. However, he does have juvenile criminal history. He allegedly committed a drive-by shooting along with at least 1 other accomplice. 2 victims were shot, and unfortunately 1 victim did not survive her injuries. We believe that Mr. Lee is an extremely dangerous person and a significant risk to community safety, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Gaunt. Do you have any information about the juvenile history? Are any of the juvenile offenses dangerous offenses?
I don't know. I just thought he has history, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Lee, as I indicated, I have reviewed the factual allegations against you in that Form 4 submitted by law enforcement. It sounds like you might have a juvenile criminal history. I'm not considering that in terms of release conditions because I don't have any information as to what those offenses were or are alleged to have been. I don't want you to tell me what they are because I don't want you to make any admissions that could be used against you since you don't have a lawyer in here. So I just want you to understand, it sounds like people are saying you might have a juvenile criminal history, but I am not considering that one way or the other because I don't have any information on what those offenses might have been. Okay. Based on the information in the Form 4 and the nature of the allegations against you, as well as the statements from the state here, I am persuaded that the nature of this case indicates that you do pose a substantial risk of harm to the general public. For that reason, I am imposing a $1 million cash-only bond. If you post that bond, you will be affixed with an ankle monitor prior to your release from custody. If you do post that bond and you are released from custody, you cannot return to the scene where any of the events giving rise to these allegations took place. You cannot have contact with any alleged victims, witnesses, co-defendants, or family members of the deceased victim. You also cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription if you are released from custody. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lee. You can step back and get your paperwork. Are you here on more, Ms. Gaunt?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Daniel Ortega to the podium in the courtroom, please. Daniel Strickland, if you would join Mr. Lauderdale in the chair. Can I have your Podium in the courtroom, please. Dadeon Graham to the chair.
Gustavo Lugo Campos, ma'am.
And what's your date of birth?
10/13/1995.
Thank you very much, Mr. Campos. You are here on a bench warrant issued by the probation court when you did not appear at a probation revocation arraignment hearing. You have a lawyer already assigned to you in that case. That lawyer will continue to represent you. Your next court hearing will be a new revocation arraignment hearing. It will be March 13th at 8:30 in the probation court downtown. And on that warrant, you have a $100 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you're released from custody, in addition to getting yourself to your next court hearing, you cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Excuse me, ma'am. I was kind of busy and I don't have money. I'm homeless. I would appreciate it if I could get released on my own recognizances.
You have to post that bond. I'm not going to release you, so you have to post that bond in order to be eligible for release. Any other questions?
Do I have anything else? I didn't catch no charges, nothing?
I'm not seeing you on any new charges. All I have is that one warrant. You could have other matters pending that the sheriff's office knows about that may not be in this court, but it looks like that's the only thing I have to see you on right now. Okay?
So I can't get released?
No, you have to post that bond. Well, you can get released if you post the bond. All right, go ahead and step back and get your paperwork. John Bricky to the podium in the courtroom, please. Scotty Gutierrez, if you would please work your way to the chair. Good morning, sir. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
John Lewis Bricky Jr., 1/13/1962.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bricky. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of dangerous drug possession. It is a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, which is a Class 6 felony. I have found probable cause to support those allegations, and I have appointed a lawyer to represent you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 21st, and then a preliminary hearing March 25th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. Mr. Bricky, I am releasing you to the supervision of pretrial services with the condition of electronic monitoring. That means you will be released from custody without having to post a bond, but prior to your release from custody, you will be affixed with an ankle monitor. Once you are out of custody, you are ordered not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription, and you will also be required to comply with any restrictions or requirements that you get from the pretrial agent that installs that ankle monitor on you. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Ash, I need to have your paperwork reprinted, but we're going to reprint it and bring it out to you if you'll just step back to your left.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Will you reprint that one, please?
Describe that for now.
Dadeon Graham to the podium in the courtroom, please. Kayla Joy to the chair. Good morning. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Dadeon Darius Graham, 07/20,000.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. You are here on a failure to appear warrant issued by the West Mesa Justice Court. It looks like the underlying allegation in that case is driving on a suspended license. Because that is a misdemeanor allegation, the nature of that charge does not entitle you to a court-appointed lawyer. You do still have the right to hire a lawyer if you wish to be represented in that case, though. Your next court hearing will be an arraignment hearing March 25th. It'll be at 8:30 in the West Mesa Justice Court. I am releasing you on your own recognizance, so it will be your responsibility to get yourself to that court hearing March 25th. Once you're out of custody, you are ordered not to operate a motor vehicle if you don't have a valid driver's license. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Graham. You can step back and get your paperwork. Scotty Gutierrez to the podium in the courtroom, please. Christina Holt, if you would work your way to the chair.
Yes.
Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Scotty Gutierrez, 7792.
Thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of narcotic drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. I have found probable cause to support those allegations, and I have appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 21st, and then a preliminary hearing March 25th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. I am releasing you on your own recognizance, so you will be released from custody. That means it will be your responsibility to get yourself back to your court hearings on the 21st and the 25th. Once you are are out of custody, you are ordered not to return to the scene where you were arrested, and you cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, sir. You can step back and get your paperwork.
Thank you.
Kayla Joy to the podium in the courtroom, please. Daniel Benavides, if you would work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Kayla Marie Joy, 021593.
Thank you very much, Ms. Joy. You are here on a failure to appear warrant issued by the Ironwood Justice Court on a misdemeanor criminal trespassing case. Because the underlying allegation in that case is a misdemeanor, you're not entitled to a court-appointed lawyer. You still have the right to hire a lawyer to represent you if you wish to be represented. Your next court hearing on this warrant will be an arraignment hearing March 27th. It'll be at 9 o'clock in the morning in the Ironwood Justice Court, and I am releasing you on your own recognizance. So that means you will be eligible for release on this warrant, and you will be responsible for getting yourself to that court hearing March 27th. Do you anticipate that on March 27th you will be out of custody?
Yeah, I hope so. I missed court on Monday, like this Monday that just passed, because I was in PC or whatever, or P5, and I missed court, and then I think I have court next week, and where is Ironwood? Where is that? Sorry, I'm from Tonopah, so I'm like...
It is in Gila Bend. So the address is 209 East Pima Street in Gila Bend, Arizona.
Okay, I know where Pima Street is off of Palo Verde Road. So
that's probably right around that area.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I'll leave it to release you on your own recognizance. If the 27th starts getting closer and closer and you think you're still going to be in custody, in your release order, you have the phone number to that Ironwood Justice Court. So if you can get yourself to court on the 27th, great, do that and try and get this taken care of. If something stops you, like you're still in custody, from getting yourself to that court hearing, call that number, let them know before the 27th, hey, I think I'm going to be in custody, I can't make it, and see if they'll bump that hearing out for you. Because without a bond on this, MCSO is not going to put that hearing date in their system, and they're not going to transport you.
Okay.
So just know that it's going to be up to you to get yourself to court on the 27th, and try and be mindful of that date. If it's coming close and you're like, I'm not going to be able to get myself there, call them and see if they'll work with you.
Okay, yeah, I have it at my clinic too, so I'll be able to...
Oh, good. Okay, let them know as soon as you can talk, whoever is managing your case there, as soon as you get some time to talk to them, let them know that you were seen on this and see if they can get that date in your system there, and maybe they'll help you keep track of that.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Joy. Okay, Christina Holt to the courtroom, please. Ash, will you move over, please?
Yes.
No, sorry, that was to him.
Oh.
You stay right there, please.
Okay, yeah.
All right, can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Christina Holt, April 18th, 1977.
Thank you very much, Ms. Holt. You are here, appearance of counsel for the state.
Thank you, Honor Brooke Gaunt, on behalf of the state.
Good morning again, Ms. Gaunt. Okay, Ms. Holt, you are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of unlawfully distributing images of nudity, that is a class 4 felony, 1 count of stalking, 2 counts of stalking, 2 counts of stalking, both class 5 felonies, 1 count of impersonating a police officer, a class 6 felony, and 12 counts of threatening and intimidating, all class 1 misdemeanors. I have reviewed the factual allegations against you provided to me by law enforcement in a document called a Form 4.
Yeah.
Based on the information that law enforcement has provided me, I am inclined to find probable cause to support these allegations. Before I do that officially, Ms. Gaunt, is there anything in addition to what's in the Form 4 the state would like me to consider in terms of probable cause?
No.
Okay. Then I do find probable cause to support the allegations against you. I have determined that you are entitled to a court-appointed lawyer, so I have appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 13th, and then a preliminary hearing March 17th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. Before I consider or impose any release conditions, can I please have the argument and recommendation of the state?
Thank you, Your Honor. The state's asking for a $50,000 secured appearance bond, and if Ms. Holt is able to post that, we'd ask for electronic monitoring, which I believe may be required by statute because of the distribution of images.
Okay.
Charge. Additionally, we'd also ask for no use of the internet. Our understanding is, I think that Ms. Holt does not have any prior criminal history. However, we are concerned given the nature of these charges. She allegedly engaged in ongoing electronic and physical stalking of the victim. She allegedly sent a nude photo of the victim to other people. There are multiple offense dates. There is a strong weight of the evidence that Holt has made admissions. We are concerned for the victim's safety risk. Given all that, we think that was appropriate, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Scott. Ms. Holt, as I indicated, I have reviewed the factual allegations against you. I have reviewed your criminal history. I do agree with the state that you do not have a criminal history prior to this incident. In weighing all of the factors in this case, in light of the allegations against you, I am persuaded by the argument that these allegations do appear to indicate that you pose a substantial risk of harm to the alleged victim. Okay. I also agree with the state's representation that there is a strong weight of the evidence in this case based in part on admissions you made in an interview with law enforcement. Yeah. For those reasons, I am persuaded that a substantial bond in this case is appropriate. I'm going to impose a $25,000 secured appearance bond. Secured appearance means that you can use a bonding company to post that bond if you choose to. Okay. I agree with the state that electronic monitoring is required based on that one distribution of images allegation. So if you post that bond, you will be affixed with an ankle monitor prior to your release from custody. If you post the bond and you're released on that ankle monitor, you cannot have any contact whatsoever with the alleged victim. That includes physical contact, it includes phone calls, it includes text messages, it includes any communication under any manner. I am also going to prohibit you from accessing the internet if you are released from custody or if you are still in custody. I don't know to what extent in custody inmates have access to the internet, but if you are in custody and you have the opportunity to access the internet, I will prohibit you from doing that. You also cannot possess any weapons if you're released from custody. Yeah. And last, whether or not you are released from custody, you are strictly ordered to comply with the terms of any orders of protection, if any have been or might later be served upon you. Okay. Do you understand all of these conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Holt. Anything else I need to address, Ms. Scott?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Holt. Oh, you know what? I do need to have your paperwork reprinted, so we'll reprint it. Yeah, that's the reprint?
We just got it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay. Awesome. Okay. They're ahead of me. Thank you, Ms. Holt. You can step back to your left. Yes, thank you. And I'm sorry, I didn't know what all you were here for, but I'm not sure I could have done anything about it. So sorry to make you wait.
No problem.
I still have one more, right? Okay.
We got it.
Is he here?
We got one more, Benavides.
Benavides, yeah, he's in the gallery? Yes. Okay, I don't see any heads. Mr. Benavides, if you'd work your way into the courtroom, please. Okay, thank you for your patience on this long calendar. Can I have your name and date of birth?
Daniel Antonio Benavides Jr., February 3rd of 91.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benavides. You are here on a grand jury warrant. A state grand jury was convened and found probable cause to return an indictment against you. That indictment contains one count of murder in the first degree, a Class 1 felony, one count of child abuse as a Class 2 felony, and one count of child abuse as a Class 4 felony. So one count of murder, two counts of child abuse, all felony allegations. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you against these allegations. Your next court hearing will be an arraignment hearing March 14th. It'll be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. I have affirmed the bond on the grand jury warrant. It is a $500,000 cash-only bond. If you post that and you are released from custody, you cannot have contact with any alleged witnesses, co-defendants, if there are any. You also cannot have contact with any minors, at least until your first hearing on the 14th. You also cannot possess any weapons or drugs without a valid prescription if you are released. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. You can step back and get your paperwork. Number 25 on the calendar, William Brown, date of birth 3/18/87, is not in the courtroom because he is currently in the hospital. I was able to conduct a telephonic initial appearance with him prior to this calendar. On that hearing, he did identify himself as William Brown, date of birth 3/18/87. I indicated to him that he was being seen on 2 warrantless petitions to revoke his probation alleging violations of terms 1 and 5. I told him he was entitled to and appointed a lawyer in both cases, gave him his next court hearing of March 14th at 8:30, and told him he had a total $500 secured appearance bond on those 2 warrants. Last on the calendar, number 23, Selene Renee Turner, date of birth 6/30/68, is not in the courtroom because she was unable to function in general population due to bizarre behavior. She is here on a parole violation warrant issued by the state of California. Because she is not in the courtroom, I am setting an extradition hearing for March 17th at 1:30 in the Superior Court downtown. She is not eligible for release on bond due to the nature of that warrant. So she will remain in custody without bail at least until her hearing the 17th at 1:30. If anything changes after I visit her cell site, I will update this recording. Otherwise, this court will stand in recess until 11 a.m.